Take 3 is the charm, as the neighbor was making a bunch of noise and the other video ended up having an issue where it didn't work. But yeah, we're going to be talking about what the Vancouver Canucks should do about Bo Horvat. Now, before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel, new to hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you subscribe if you want, as I'm hoping to make this a career. Anyway, let's talk about Bo and exactly what's going on there with him and the team. Bo Horvat is having an incredible season, 13 goals in 16 games played. Looks like he's going to have a career year in that term. For goals, points, all the good stuff, it very well could happen. But at the same time, he is on the final year of his contract and he has a $5.5 million AAV for the remainder of this season. Of course, with paychecks and stuff, it's going to go down a little bit. And this is where we start to say, what exactly should the Vancouver Canucks do with Bo Horvat, and what exactly does Bo want to do with the team? And why are we even talking about this? Why is this an issue? Well, for one, his contract is up after this season. He is a UFA. And the status of the team seems to be an issue right now. They are 4-9-3, 7th in the Pacific, just ahead of the Anaheim Ducks, and they sit probably like 25th or worse in the league standings right now. They just lost to Boston last night, 5-2, and they are not in a spot to contend for the playoffs right now. And they don't look like a team that deserves to be there. They keep blowing multi-goal leads, even though if they won those games, they'd be in a great spot right now, but besides the point. But yeah, they really are not a playoff contending team, so they would hate to go the rest of the year, miss the playoffs, and then have Bo go somewhere else for absolutely nothing. On top of that, money issues for the club are probably looking like they're on their way. Why exactly? Well, you've got bigger contracts to Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, you got Connor Garland on the books, and some other players that you might have to pay going forward. Elias Pettersson, a name that probably comes to mind. If I'm not mistaken, he is a UFA after the 2024 season, and so Vancouver, who drafted him, probably would love to have one of the best young players in the league, or at least that's what a lot of people view him as. I know he's kind of had some highs and lows, but I do view him as a very good player in the league now and a very good player in the league going forward. He's going to have to get paid, which is why I really do think them giving him that 3-year deal at the time was a bad deal, and that's because he's going to get paid a lot more in his next deal, which means the Canucks are going to have some money problems. See what I'm saying? Bo Horvat might be the odd man out. Maybe not, because they can always move contracts around, but that's another problem. Again, like I said, final year of his contract. They don't want to lose him for nothing. The team is doing bad. They've got some money problems coming forward. And on top of that, what exactly does Bo want to get paid? That has kind of been the talk of the Canucks fan base, NHL fan base. Everybody's kind of talking about it right now because it appears that Bo's agent wants him to be paid as a top line center. I have to be honest, if Bo Horvat is your top player or like one of your top line players, you're probably not contending for a Stanley Cup. That being said, he is certainly not a bad player. Bo is a guy that can fit into a middle six really well. I do think he could be a top 6 player for your team. And while it took me a while as a Canucks fan to say, Horvat probably is not a top line caliber player, he is a guy that does deserve to get paid decently well. I think he could probably argue for more than $5.5 million per season. Now, I don't think he can use this year and say this is why I deserve to be paid $10 million, whatever the case may be, because this is a weird year. But this is a great time for him to have a breakout season because he's going to get paid by somebody after this season, whoever that is. But where would he even go if there was a trade? What are the Canucks even thinking here? Who would want him? I would say that there are a few teams we could talk about. Carolina Hurricanes are a team that I've read about. They make a lot of sense for a few reasons. One, I think they have the cap to do it with a trade. And two, people talked about going into this season, do the Hurricanes have enough center depth? A lot of people are saying, is Jesperi Kotkaniemi good enough to fill in as a second-line center, third-line center, as he got that deal, that long-term deal? As of right now, I think the Hurricanes would really like to have some more depth there, a more experienced guy that's been able to put up numbers that they would say are better than Kotkaniemi. That is big because the Hurricanes have struggled in the playoffs. They have struggled to get past people before, and they could use maybe a little spark. If Bo's able to be that spark, great for them, as they look to be not just that second-tier team, but that top-tier team that can go with anybody else and then win a cup. That is why I think they would make a lot of sense. On top of that, the Avalanche are a team that would make a lot of sense as well. Well, I don't exactly know what their cap situation is right now. They would love to win back-to-back cups. You know, McKinnon's big deal is going to be an issue going forward in the next few seasons. Well, I say next few, but for the remainder of that deal, even though he's probably going to be a very good player, that's still a lot of money that goes against your cap. Colorado might just say, let's try to make another big run for it while we still can, while cap isn't a major issue. Because their team's really good and money's probably going to be a problem for them in the next few years if it isn't already. But if they could get Horvat and get the Canucks to eat a lot of that money, that would be good for them. On the flip side, what would the Canucks want in return? You're getting a guy that has 13 points, or 13 goals, I should say, in 16 games played. I know that they can't realistically say, oh, he's a goal per game type player. Absolutely not. You cannot just say that just because of one season and one early part of a season. But they would also say, hey, this is a guy that probably could be a very good third-line player and a very reliable second-line player. If you needed him, if you're a contending team, you'd love to have him. If you're a rental, if you're another team, there are some other teams out there. Maybe they want an experienced center that could be part of their future. Detroit was another team I read about. Don't exactly know if I buy into that for them. But yeah, this is where the Canucks don't have a lot of time to figure it out. You got to get Horvat's value while it's hot if you decide to trade him. And you also have to decide, are you even going to trade him? And then you got to be ready for the backlash if he is able to miss, or if the team's able to miss the playoffs and then you lose him out in free agency. The reality is, I think he is the odd man out in Vancouver, so they should probably sell him while they can still get a decent return. What do you think, though? What would be a very good team for him to go to? What would be a good, match for him and another team? What would be a good return for Vancouver? How would all that stuff work? Would you have to get multiple teams involved? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you are new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go off hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.